M. Fletcher Brown with another artist video blog here at kicks96country.com. My guest in studio today is a good friend. He's been here before. You've probably heard him talk with Big Farley in the morning. We've played a couple of his songs here on Kicks 96, and I know you've heard between George Strait and George Jones. His current single is Let's Take Tonight. Please welcome all the way from East Tennessee, our good friend Corey Layne. How are you, Corey?
I'm good. How are you, man?
Man, it's good to have you here.
It's good to be here.
Your first time in our artist video blog
Yes,
segment.
yes.
All right,
Yes.
so
I don't know what to do with my hands.
you don't. Well, you don't have a guitar.
Right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
I think your hands are just sort of naturally, made to have a guitar in them
Right.
and be playing. I think the first time that Corey and I met was in Nashville at Country Radio Seminar, which is an industry event where a lot of artists and radio guys like me, we go every year. And he was just sort of hanging around. I mean, I don't even really think you were technically attending.
I wasn't. I had a phone call from a mutual friend of ours, Travis.
Yeah.
He said, "Get your butt down here right now," and I said, "I'm on my way."
Yeah, and there you are, just hanging out in the hotel area, and you're meeting people, and you're hanging out with a bunch of folks. And someone introduced us, and you played me a couple of your songs, and I was just floored. I was like, "This is some really, really great country music right here." Like, and I put an emphasis on some great country music right here.
Yeah, I appreciated it too. That meant a lot, you know.
Well, so now for the folks who have yet to meet Corey Layne, if you're new to Corey, I want you to let's go back and pretend like we've never met, and we're going to talk about you and your music.
Okay.
Like this is our first time. All right.
Sure thing.
All right. So East Tennessee, like around just around the Fayetteville area or near there, just
No, South Pittsburgh.
South Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fayetteville's on the north end. You're a little further south.
Yeah.
Than that. So growing up in South Pittsburgh, that's where you've pretty much been your whole life, right?
Yeah, well, not anymore, but growing up in South Pittsburgh, man, there's three main things. There's lodge cast iron, there's football, and then there's cornbread. And that's what we have in South Pittsburgh, Tennessee.
Wait, what was the first one?
Lodge cast iron.
Lodge cast iron.
Yeah.
Football and cornbread.
And cornbread.
I'm assuming that the lodge cast iron and the cornbread go together.
Yeah, they do.
But where does the football come in?
The football, it's just we're the best 1A team in the state of
Oh,
Tennessee.
that's what. Oh, okay, that's what that is. All right.
And I mean, everybody rallies around the football team. So,
Okay. So did you play football?
I sure did.
Really?
Yeah, I was outside linebacker. Played baseball. Me and my brothers, actually, all of us played, and my sister was a cheerleader there. You know, so it was a good place to grow up. I mean, it's where my roots are, the mountains, the valley, all that stuff. But when I got out of there, I realized there was a bigger world. When I was living there, probably about 2,000 people in the town. Now
That's a
there's
small
probably
town.
yeah, about
Wow, that's a small
2,700 now. But see, when we have the Cornbread Festival, there's like 50,000 people that come, 30 to 50,000 people every year. So it's a big deal over there. And yeah.
Well, when did you start like songwriting and playing?
Man, I was about 12, 13 years old.
Oh, okay. So was this before or after football?
Oh, this was before, during, after,
okay.
all that. And, I played Little League on up.
Okay.
But I knew I wanted to do this. I was 17, went to a worldwide singing competition. I'd won the state and the United States competition and went to Indianapolis, Indiana. And when I went to Indianapolis, I stood on the stage, and I think there was probably 20, 30,000 people out in the crowd at this competition. The music starts. I knew I wouldn't be able to hear myself, so I stood up a little bit. And the first time that, I sang that word, one word came out of my mouth, it was like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I ended up winning that. And when I won, I won a scholarship, a full ride to Lee University. Instead of taking that, I signed a record deal. So
Okay.
Typical musician type thing to do. But it's been a roller coaster ever since. You have your ups, you have your downs. When you become an independent, it's hard. It's really hard. But I got a manager, Doug Roughton. He is phenomenal. Usually you meet managers and they're just not on the up and up, kind of like Colonel from Elvis.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, those stories are common.
Right. And then, I've got my wife right here that she's got my back, and that's all I need, and I got friends like you, man, friends like you.
Well, I mean, I'll be honest. It's like I feel like, and this is just me personally. I feel like your music actually speaks to people who really love and appreciate country music,
Thank you.
and I think it comes from a very real place
It does.
inside you. I mean, it you're not. I don't feel like when I hear Corey Layne's song, I don't feel like you're writing. You're trying to write a hit. You're writing an experience, or you're
Yeah.
writing a feeling, or you're writing a thought. You're not trying to necessarily write a quote unquote hit. And
Right.
I think that's where country music comes from.
I do too. And I told somebody just the other day, where have the stories gone?
Mm.
You know, because country music is a story.
Mm-hmm.
There's the roots of country music go so deep. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And it's all storytelling, and now it's not as much storytelling. I like the storytelling songs, man. And you know, I might be young, but I have that old soul. I love Vern Gosson, and I love, you know, I love Muddy Waters. Then I love, you know, people like Don Williams. Then you
Mm-hmm.
go back to Howlin' Wolf, and then you go, you
Yeah.
know, like those people influenced my life. And then, you know, I grew up a pastor's kid, so
Yeah.
I've got that church background too. So there's a lot of things that play with my music.
Well, now you say you've been writing and singing since you were like 12, 13 years old. I mean, do you feel like you've told all of your story yet?
No, not at all. Not even close. I haven't hardly scratched the surface.
So there's still a lot of Corey Layne's
Yes,
story to tell.
there is.
Is there are there things that maybe you're not sure how to tell it, or maybe if you even want to tell it? Are there subjects, you know, in experiences that you maybe just kind of you look at and you go, maybe I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, there are. I mean, like one is getting in a fight with a guy outside of CRS.
No, I was there. I remember that.
But the you know, there's a lot there's a lot of other
Wow.
there's a lot of other stories,
Yeah.
you know, that are just too personal. I've got a song, and I'll probably never release it. It's about my brother. My brother's been in a vegetated state for 16 years this year.
Oh my.
And I was on the phone with him when he had his wreck. And it took me 12 years to come up with the song about him. I was trying to do some inner healing up, you know, myself. And listening to that song, I couldn't even write a second verse. It was a first verse, chorus, because I couldn't get a second verse out. So there's a lot of things that I won't write about, you know, the church, won't write about that. Growing up in the church, it's just some of it's just too touchy and too personal. Yeah.
Yeah, I get
Now
that.
I'll write songs for myself all day long, and I don't mind that. I mean, if I can sit down and play them and just get a little anger and emotion out, I'm good with it. But as far as releasing them, you may hear them at some live shows, but that's about it.
Oh. All right. Well, let's talk about, you know, your right now music, the music that
Okay.
you are releasing now. I mentioned earlier between George Strait and George Jones.
Yeah.
All right. Which is it's a boy meets girl story. It's a very
Yeah.
simple country love story. So boy meets girl somewhere between George Strait and George Jones. They shared a dance and they fell in love.
Yeah.
Right. And that's beautiful. And now you've got Let's Take Tonight.
Mhm.
What is this story? What is the story behind that song?
I wrote this song about my divorce.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was it's truth, almost verbatim what I said to my ex-wife. And, you know, when I said it, I was like, dang, that's a song. So I went to the next room and wrote the song. When I got in the studio with Jeff King and Chris Latham, Mark Frigo, I said, I want this to sound like a song, like I'm sitting in a room by myself and I'm just singing, and it's like you can feel the emotion. I don't want any vocal corrections on it. I don't want any of this. I don't want any of that. Just a guitar and maybe a slide where it's like it's crying. And man, they came up with the perfect sound of that. But it's a true story. And then I found out when I actually released this on the internet in 21, and I found out that there are so many people that are going through the same thing that
Mhm.
the song talks about. I mean, I hate TikTok, but
I hate TikTok too. I get it. Oh, I get it.
but it's been hashtagged over 300,000 times on there,
Oh my god.
and that's a cool thing for me to experience. It's been streamed over 1 million times. It's a good song. That's a real song, and that's just what I like to put out there is real stuff.
And again, I point out if you haven't yet heard Corey Layne, check him out. hear what I heard, music that really connects with you. It's his story, but it's a story that is universal. It's one that, you know, we all share, you know. We've all had that I met this person or I lost this person, you know. We've all had those frustrating moments, you know, that comes out through in your music that you write about. And you write it very clearly and very concisely, and you write really truth. What was it that someone once said about country music? Is 3 chords in the truth?
Guarantee it.
Yeah, and that's what you've managed to really, really do well, as evidenced by, you know, hundreds of thousands of streams on your latest single. Let's Take Tonight is the song. We're playing it on Kicks 96. If you want to hear it, please call us. We'll be happy to play it for you.
Yeah.
If someone is here and has heard Corey Layne and they want to learn as much as they possibly can about you, where would they look for you?
Well, you've got my website. It's CoreyLayne.com. It's CoreyLayne.com. And then you can just do Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff, or just Google me, you know, and then you can just find stuff.
Right. Corey Layne is a man of many stories. I mean, it's like you can see he's got all of he's got 2 sleeves of tattoos here that I've been envious of since I met him, you know, because I like tattoos. I've got a couple myself, nowhere close to this many, but you know, tattoos tell a story, and I'm sure everyone's got a story. And you really should probably consider doing like your own TikTok channel just for your tattoos.
I thought about it.
Where you talk about like, this tattoo, this is where that, you know, this one came from this experience. Or
I will say one thing: this tattoo though, this one with this one.
Which one?
The microphone and the initials. So my grandfather's name was Wayman Green Layne, and this is the microphone he sang on the Grand Ole Opry, and that's my dream, just singing on the Grand Ole Opry once, and it's gonna happen. I'll feel like I've accomplished.
All right, I'm gonna make you a deal. The night that you sing on the Grand Ole Opry for the first time, I'm gonna be there.
I guarantee you. I'll have you come backstage.
Like I'm gonna go. I've never been to the Grand Ole Opry during the Grand Ole Opry, but the first time they invite you to sing on the Grand Ole Opry and you get to do that, I'm gonna be there.
Awesome.
Deal.
All right, I'm down with it.
If you want to learn more about Corey Layne, look for him. Corey Layne, was it Corey Layne Music?
CoreyLayne.com.
CoreyLayne.com. That's Layne, by the way. Look for him on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You do have a TikTok, right? Yeah. We all do. We don't want it, but we've got it. So, YouTube. He's all there. You're going to love his music, I promise. And we're going to get him to play something live for us. So look for a live performance from Corey Layne here elsewhere on our YouTube channel. Corey, thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
All right. You're always got a home right here in Northwest Alabama, okay?
I believe it. Thank you.
This says East Tennessee boy is a real deal. I'm telling you want to check him out. Corey Layne is our guest, and I'll see you next time on another artist video blog at kicks96country.com.
Yeah, it was real once that shot on to hell. So let's take tonight and be real with ourselves.